Deep in the remote jungles and fractured borderlands of Colombia, a network of irregular armies is quietly running some of the most hyper-lucrative criminal franchises on the planet. For over 60 years, groups like the National Liberation Army, or ELN, and the heavily armed dissident factions of the FARC have survived every military offensive launched against them by mutating. Once staunch militants of hard-left ideologies, they now run gigantic criminal operations on corporate balance sheets, funding their operations through record-high cocaine production, industrial-scale illegal gold mining, and cross-border human smuggling networks. Yet there is one man that's vowed to destroy Colombian gangs and guerrillas, and Colombians just elected him as president. He's Abelardo de la Espriella, nicknamed Colombian Bukele. But today's brief isn't about him. We already have one video about him that you can watch. Today's brief is about what he's actually walking into. In this brief, you will understand how powerful Colombian organized crime is and what are the organizations behind it. The conflict between the Colombian government and the guerrillas began in the mid-1960s, during a period of intense rural unrest. Two insurgent movements took shape. In the mountains and jungles, the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, the FARC, formed as a Soviet-aligned peasant self-defense militia. In the cities, radical student leaders and intellectuals inspired by Cuba's revolution founded the National Liberation Army, the ELN. For decades, both operated under strict military discipline with a clear ideological manifesto: overthrow the Colombian Republic and replace it with a Marxist-Leninist state. Guerrilla commanders framed their campaigns around agrarian reform and social justice. But state prosecutors and international monitors documented a consistent reliance on mass extortion, kidnapping for ransom, and systematic terror to control rural populations and fund their operations. For 40 years, that cycle of violence kept Colombia locked in instability. But then came the cartels. If the guerrillas were Colombia's first war, the cartels were something different entirely. Criminal ambition operating at industrial scale with enough money to buy governments capable of enough violence to destroy them. The Medellin cartel emerged in the late 1970s as global demand for cocaine exploded. Led by Pablo Escobar alongside the Ochoa brothers and Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha, the organization dominated the global trade. At its peak in the mid-1980s, the cartel was generating an estimated $420 million a week. Escobar's personal fortune is estimated at around $30 billion. When the Colombian government moved to extradite cartel members to the United States, he declared open war on the state. Between mid-1989 and early 1990, according to Crime magazine, the Medellin cartel carried out over 200 bombings, killed more than 100 officials and civilians, and caused roughly $500 million in damage. A Colombian airliner was blown out of the sky, a presidential candidate was assassinated, dozens of judges were murdered. Yet even as Medellin terrorized the country, a second organization was building something more durable and, ultimately, more dangerous. The Cali cartel, led by brothers Gilberto and Miguel Rodriguez Orejuela, took the opposite approach. Cali operated through compartmentalized cells, shell companies, real estate, legitimate businesses, and political infiltration. At their peak, DEA assessments cited in federal court indicate the Cali cartel controlled more than 70% of cocaine entering the United States, pulling in over $5 billion annually. Both cartels eventually fell, but the infrastructure those cartels built, the routes, the networks, the corrupted institutions, didn't disappear. It was inherited. Out of the wreckage of the cartel era emerged a new kind of organization. One that combined the violence of Medellin, the operational discipline of Cali, and the territorial ambitions of the guerrillas. The Clan del Golfo was born from the 2006 mobilization of Colombia's right-wing paramilitary umbrella group, the AUC. When the AUC laid down its weapons, thousands of fighters refused. They regrouped in the Urabá region near the Panamanian border, a corridor drug traffickers had long prized for access to both coasts. The group has grown dramatically. According to Colombian conflict data between 2022 and 2025, the Clan del Golfo more than doubled in size to nearly 10,000, while expanding its presence from 145 municipalities to nearly 300 across 17 departments. Their revenue model spans cocaine trafficking, industrial-scale illegal gold mining, extortion, and fees charged to migrants crossing the Darien Gap, according to Insight Crime and Regional Security reporting. The organization has documented ties to Mexico's Sinaloa cartel and Italy's Ndrangheta. Meanwhile, the ideological guerrillas were undergoing their own mutation. When the FARC's mainstream leadership signed a historic peace accord, thousands of hardline combatants refused to demobilize. They fractured into dissident networks. Today, alongside a reorganized ELN, these groups have largely abandoned Marxist doctrine and operate as transnational criminal enterprises competing with the Clan del Golfo for territory and revenue streams. Their operations span global cocaine supply chains, illegal mining, and cross-border smuggling, with Venezuelan territory frequently serving as a safe haven. So, this is the adversary landscape de la Espriella inherits on Inauguration Day. Conflict monitoring data indicates that Petro government's prolonged negotiation rounds have helped these groups to expand territorial control back to levels not seen in the last 20 years. The Clan del Golfo alone increased its presence in the Antioquia department by 60% during the total peace period. The central question of his presidency is not whether he has the will to confront these groups. It's whether a constitutional democracy can run an uncompromising security campaign without compromising the institutional foundations that make it a democracy. Colombia has tried all ways to get rid of organized crime. None eliminated it. De la Espriella is betting that what El Salvador achieved against its gangs can be replicated against organizations that are older, wealthier, and more deeply embedded in Colombia's geography and economy than anything Bukele faced. So we want to hear your thoughts, so leave them in the comments below. Because if this content found you, it means you are searching for truth and interesting stories on the way. And that is precisely our mission. We are Big Picture Originals, a brand powered by Brazil Paralelo, driven by a small team that seeks to bring to you high-quality productions that connect audiences with the culture, history, and values that give purpose to life. To achieve our goal, every kind of support means the world. So, if you feel related and you enjoyed this video, drop a hard like, let us know your opinion, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with anybody that you feel might appreciate it. See you in our next brief.